transformations, and we have a really amazing transformation here to tell you about. I want to welcome first my co-host Dawn. Thank you for coming from J&J Video Reacts.
You're welcome. How are you?
Good. I'm Vegan Knowledge JJ, as you guys know, and I have here my very, very special guest with such an inspiring journey he's on. I'm sorry. I think you can hear me on two different things here. Oh, I could hear myself. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Zepaul Thomas is a holistic health enthusiast. Oh, I can hear myself. Can you guys still hear me? Wait, I can still hear myself.
Okay, wait a minute. My phone was turned up. Okay.
Okay, we will get this intro out. Zepaul Thomas is a holistic health enthusiast on a detox to reverse cerebral palsy symptoms. He is currently on a Mono Grape diet for, listen to this, over 120 days. And I think he's on like day 118. Is that right now?
Yes.
That is amazing. See, I've been following it. I even knew what day you were on. Welcome and thank you so much for joining. How are you this evening?
I'm doing excellent. I'm doing excellent. I'm happy to be here on with you guys. I watch a lot of your interviews, and it's one of the things that helped me to get through with doing this extended fruit fast.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for
Oh,
being
that's
a
pretty
fan of
cool.
the channel. And I know Dawn had her little great journey a little while back. Of course, we didn't make it 120 days, but you've inspired me to do another mono diet for
I
sure.
mean, really, it's inspiring because I did 7 days back in December. I think it was December, right, Jen?
I think so. We'll have to look back
Yeah,
at the live
I did
stream.
7 days back in December. I fasted for 20 days before. I fast on and off, but yeah, I'm really interested. I was just thinking to myself, I've been eating salads the past couple nights. I'm like, I'm craving some grapes, so I stocked up on them. We've got a few bags in the fridge, fresh from the grocery store today and yesterday, and I think I'm going to go on grapes for a couple days. So who knows? If I just feel like keep on going, I may end up being up there with you.
That's awesome.
My brother had cerebral palsy too, by the way, and my nephew has it. So,
This is very inspirational for
yeah,
you and for me.
very, very personal journey that the both the grapes and the cerebral palsy. So I'm going to be cheering you on every step of the way, bro.
That's good to hear. I
Yeah,
appreciate that. I really
yeah,
appreciate that.
yeah.
Mhm.
And it's so important to have like support, and I know you're in a lot of the same Facebook groups I'm in, and I love that like camaraderie of like-minded people that kind of help us all get through this health journey. So could you just tell us a little bit about like your history of like have you like been dealing with this condition for your entire life, and like did you become vegan first or did you just go straight from, or have you been vegan your entire life? Like how did that all start where you started getting interested in like plant-based food and fruit and things like that?
Well, just me growing up, I was born with cerebral palsy. I was born 3 months premature, and in 1987, the weight that I was born, you know, it was it wasn't very likely for a lot of us to make it. Uh, Being 3 months or so premature, um, I was diagnosed with cerebral palsy like within days. My mother noticed like the way I was sleeping and stuff that something wasn't right, and and the severity of it. Of course, my level of cerebral palsy isn't at the level of a lot of other people because there's varying degrees of it.
Mhm.
But um, just growing up having cerebral palsy and just being in and out of the doctor, in and out of the doctor in the hospital, having many different operations and procedures. I've had so many different procedures on my body, so many operations on my legs, my back. I mean, I've even, I even had a tracheostomy. I've had so many different operations during the first 14 years of my life, and just as I gotten older, mm, I started just to learn more about my condition, and just me being inquisitive about what's going on with my body kind of led me into the rabbit hole of getting more into an alternative uh, way of approaching my health, and outside of just dealing with the doctors. After I got about 15 years old, I I kind of had it in my mind that I didn't want to do any more operations, because I had many operations in my life, but they weren't they weren't in procedures to heal actually heal my cerebral palsy. It was just more of making the condition better for a certain amount of time. So I
Mhm.
would have like hamstring lengthenings every couple of years, and that might help for a little while, but it wouldn't it wouldn't do any long lasting help for me. But as I started to get more into holistic health, especially as the information age started to become more prevalent and information came to my fingertips more, I started to learn more about um, different ways of dealing with cerebral palsy. I didn't know that there was necessarily a cure for cerebral palsy, but what could I do to improve my condition? So, especially as YouTube came about, and I came across things like Earth Clinic and things like that. I, Many different tools of me learning different ways to improve my condition over the years. And as far as like veganism, I stumbled across that, um, coming across people like Dr. Sabi, learning about Dr. Sabi,
Mhm.
Dr. Africa, eventually Dr. Morse, and healers like that, that led me down to different forms of plant-based lifestyles. Like, you know, I became raw at different parts of my life, parts of this journey, then fruitarian at just different parts of my journey, and you know, to the point to where I started doing things like dry fast. I've done dry fast before, um, and then over the spring and the summer, I did my first uh, extended fruit fast.
Okay.
Nice. That is
Awesome.
awesome. I heard you talking on a different live stream, and you were mentioning that at first you didn't think you saw any real big differences, but like you mentioned, maybe like your brother or someone said that he actually noticed like things that have improved since you were on the fruit. And like, what was that like? It wasn't mono fruit. You were just doing like different varieties of fruit.
Oh yeah, I think a couple of years ago, it was someone that I follow on Facebook, and he had recommended. I just asked him. I said, "What do you think could help my condition for cerebral palsy?" And he said, based on his knowledge, if you just go on a sweet, water dense fruit diet for a few months, you can get rid of just about anything. So I decided to take that on. So it took me years to actually just do that,
Mm-hmm.
because he gave me like a strict outline. He said, no, no plants, no greens, just sweet water dense fruit, no dates, no dried fruits, not even any tomatoes or cucumbers, just sweet water dense fruits for a month, for 2 months, for 3 months, until you see a difference in your condition. So I did it for 3 months, and I actually stopped it. And right at the moment when I stopped it, my brother came to visit around that time, and he was just go. He didn't. I don't even really think he knew what I was doing, dietary wise, but he was just going off about how much taller I was standing, and just different things that he noticed, and and it really it it would motivated me. It made me wish that I kept going because I had stopped. But
Yeah.
it made me wish that I would have kept going because I'm in like you said, I'm in a couple of different fruit fast groups and fruitarian groups, and I was asking questions. I'm like, why am I not getting any detox symptoms? And then
Hmm.
that's when someone recommended me the grape fast, the grape cure book, and so I read that book, and then a couple of weeks later, I jumped into this grape diet that I'm on.
For those that don't know that book, that was it was is it Johanna or Joanna Brandt, something like
Yeah.
that? And
Hmm.
she actually reversed, was it cancer or what was her?
It was cancer, yeah.
Okay, I haven't
Hmm.
read it, but I've heard a lot. Like when we started looking into the grapes, it really like started coming to fruition everywhere we heard about that book. So and you read it and you enjoyed the book.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Because I'm actually, um, I'm dealing with someone really close to me that has cancer, and
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
was telling, I was telling them about it, and they would just say they don't have the discipline for it, and
That's
I
how my
agree.
uncle is. Mhm.
I agree. It does take a lot of discipline, but me personally, if I was dealing with cancer, I don't care how much discipline I got.
Yeah.
If somebody said, "Well, eating grapes for 6 weeks could cure your cancer," I would do it.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Or
yeah.
you're that definitely have that kind of person, that inspiration, and just to commend you of how many other people you're inspiring that feel maybe they don't, have any control over their condition. It's like amazing when we find out this is what our body needs, we're supposed to eat, and the body is meant to like heal itself. But a lot of times, like Eli was talking about last night, we get in the way of that, and we put stuff in that is prohibiting it from truly healing. So when you decide, so and then you said, so this was when that you decided to do the grapes. I mean, I guess I know it was 118 days ago, but what led you into that path?
Well, actually, after I finished the first fast,
Yeah.
and I was asking about why I wasn't getting detox symptoms. Actually, there was a guy, Orville Douglas, uh, that I was actually that had actually been following leading up to that, and he was doing like he had just done like 90 something days on grapes, and it's weird because I was I was just really getting into like the fruit fasting, and when I discovered him, and I was seeing him in all the fruit groups, and he had just done 90 something days on grapes, and I was thinking to myself, I can't see myself just eating one fruit, and
Hmm.
that's the funny thing because I've never done a mono fruit fast. I've never where I've just eaten one fruit for a long period of time. And so I couldn't really conceptualize in my mind me doing something like that. So it's crazy now people say, I don't have the discipline like you, Zepaul. And then I think to myself, I never thought I'd be able to do it myself,
Right, right.
actually
Right, right, right.
a few
That's
months
You
ago.
don't
true.
know until you try, until you get started, and it's meant to test you all along throughout the journey. You know what I mean? So it's like the key thing is getting started. That's what a lot of people don't realize. It's like you got to stop thinking about the journey and think about one day at a time. Just get started with one day and focus on a few minutes, an hour, and get through the day. And then if you make it through one day, cool, that's one day down. All right, now we're on the next day. Let's focus on what we can do to try to keep our minds focused today on anything but the fact that all I'm eating is grapes. Do
Yeah.
something constructive to try to, because you notice when people focus on it, they start focusing on what they're not eating and
Yeah.
focusing on the fact that, damn, all I'm eating is grapes. What the
Hmm.
hell is wrong
Then
with
it
me?
starts to
And
deter
then
you.
it starts to mess with their mind, right? And
Mhm.
starts to turn them away from, like, okay, I'm crazy, I'm not just doing this. But if you don't focus on it so much, just set your mind on autopilot
Mhm.
and just, okay, this is what I do. I eat grapes. That's it. That's who I am for the next 30 days. Forget everything else. It's not easy, but if they do that and flip that switch and okay, this is who I am, this is who I am, and let's take it one day at a time and
Mhm.
succeed every day, it becomes an easier thing the longer they do it.
Plus, I think you got to realize you're in a different headspace when you go into it than you might be in like, just from me, I haven't even done that mono fruit fast yet, but just
Mhm.
from being on only fruits and like the frugivore type diet, when I'm on like day 14, I'm a different person than I was day 1, because you start to get that momentum and you start to clean out, you know. So did you find it hard at the very beginning for you?
Oh yeah, it was hard. It was difficult in the beginning, but it wasn't extremely difficult. It was difficult because I had did the first fast, and then when I stopped, I actually moved from Atlanta to Maryland, where I'm at now, and I moved and I got a new job and everything. But
Congratulations.
so I appreciate it. But I went. It was a little bit of a change, but one of the convenience of where I'm living, where I'm living, it it was a I had a lot of access to grapes, especially the seeded grapes, because I just elected to just eat only the grapes with the seeds. But and one of there's a market in my area. There's a market in my area that has the grapes in, like, I can buy boxes of grapes from them at a really cheaper price rather than buying them at like the conventional stores where I'll be paying a lot more. But
Right.
I'm in that. I just so happen to be lucky to be in an area that I have access to those grapes. So that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing is it wasn't hard. It was hard in the beginning because I started out. I After I moved, I was I was eating a lot of uh I was eating out a lot. I was going out to different vegan uh, food restaurants with my brothers, because I moved, and of course they want to spend time. They want to hang out. So if we're gonna go out to eat, we're gonna go. They're going to go to somewhere where I can eat. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think, and even my two younger brothers, they they aren't plant based, but they eat healthier. Like they don't mind going to a vegan spot. You know what I mean? They're not one of
Yeah.
those. They're not one of those non-vegans where they're like
Right.
where they roll their eyes.
Anti-vegan, right?
Right. Right.
Like they're excited. They're excited to go to a vegan spot with me. And they even want to show me show me out to different places. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, even now, my brother would go somewhere and then come back and tell me, you should go to this spot. We should go to this spot. When you get off. But when I started, when I started this fast, I was going to a lot of these different vegan spots, or places that were vegan friendly, and it was kind of hard for me to. It was more of a struggle for me to switch gears from eating cooked foods to going back to eating raw, even though I was eating foods for only foods for over 3 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
It
Yeah, I
But
can
after,
imagine.
but actually, after about the third or fourth day, it's been a walk in the park, and it's like like you were saying, Don. I do take it one day at a time, but
Yeah.
it's not it's not a struggle. It's
Mhm.
not like it's not a struggle to where, like, oh, another day of eating grapes. At this point, at this point, um,
It's who you are.
yeah, it's who I am. It's who I am, but I can block out everything else. Like, I
Yeah.
have it in my mind that I'm eating grapes, and
Mhm.
not only that I'm eating grapes, but I enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's huge. That's huge because it helps you stay on the journey. And especially after, like, when you fast, when you get into that second and third day, that's when it becomes a little bit harder. That first day you still got the adrenaline, you pumped, I'm gonna do this. But after a couple of days it gets a little bit harder. But then once you start getting into that fourth and fifth day, it just kind of it gets on autopilot and you just kind of start coasting. So yeah, I can imagine after what, 2.5, almost 3 months, that you're getting to a point. Well, what is it, you said how many days?
118.
Right now it's 118.
So he's
A
been
hundred,
over 3 months,
like
right?
4 months. He's
Almost
coming
4.
up on 4 months.
Yeah,
Yeah,
how about that?
so that's
Almost 4,
awesome.
right?
Yeah.
Um, Michelle, welcome to the live stream, and Richard, welcome. Appreciate you coming. Our new fan here. I know he was messaging on Facebook how to get in, so I'm glad you made it. Thank
Hi,
you.
Michelle and Richard.
And I think did I see Muriel too? I think I might have seen her name, or maybe I missed it. But welcome, whoever's here. Thank you for watching live. If you have questions, feel free to put them down in the chat. We'll try to answer them. Before I forget to ask, what is the benefit of seeded grapes instead of regular grapes? And do you buy organic, or is it just you go with seeded, whatever they have seeded?
Well, it doesn't say, most of the time it don't say organic on the bag. Where
Mhm.
I get them from my local farmers market, and they seem to be really fresh. Seem to be fresher than the ones I've gotten from the regular stores,
Yeah.
from the regular grocery stores. You know, I still wash them with baking soda and uh, the way hydrogen peroxide and key limes and all that. But you know, N- I haven't had any issues with them. But as far as the seeds, I I guess I try to just stick with seeded fruit, and because um, I've been able to get them from a place where they have they have seeded grapes, I try to just stick with the seeds.
That is awesome. I know
And
we got them by
even
mistake the other day. We even didn't even know they had seeded grapes, and we just automatically, like, you click on the reorder thing when you order groceries online, and they came, and I was like, "You found seeded grapes," and she's like, "Oh, I didn't even know." They must have just like sent them as a
They must
replacement.
have substituted them.
Yeah, I was like, well, it worked out in our favor then, because they have more nutrients in them. I understand, right? Like they're
yeah,
more healing power.
yeah, when you do read that grape cure book, she goes into the benefits of the whole grape. I mean, she does say you can eat the seedless grapes, but the seeds too itself has benefits.
Okay. Like
Hmm.
they make like grapeseed oil I've seen before. Like I've heard of that, right? Is that
Hmm.
on your I think you have a page where you sell those type of products, which we'll get to, or you recommend them.
Yeah, I just have two. I just have two products. I have a black seed oil. That's
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. We'll have to discuss that. But
And
um
you eat the seeds, right?
Or the grapes, yeah, I eat the whole grape. I'm not. I mean, not even like with just the intention of eating the seeds. I just don't see myself spitting it out. I rather just eat the whole thing.
right,
Yeah.
instead of taking the seed out,
But
those grapes would be a hassle, wouldn't it?
that's even kind of weird though because even I've been hearing like even just recently, like a couple of days ago, I was hearing like some people say that your body really doesn't digest the grapes. So I'm hearing that the grapes have benefits. Then I'm hearing that your body doesn't digest the grapes. But I guess it won't hurt either way, you know?
Yeah. And well,
The
let's
seed.
talk about what you've experienced. Like when you were going into this, do you feel better? Like, do you feel more mentally clear? Do you feel like some of your, like, I don't know, sure exactly like how it improves, but have you noticed any improvements in your health?
Oh yes. This my arthritis. I had arthritis like really bad, and that's gone. Like I don't feel any arthritis now. Um. Uh. I'm walking. I'm walking a little bit better. My spasticity, like the tightness in my muscles, are lessening up like little by little. Um, and I have more energy some days. Some days I don't have more energy, only because you would think, you know, a lot of people say, ask me, do I drink water, and I don't drink water most times, and people would think, well, you're gonna get dehydrated, and uh, I don't think that's true because I is sometimes I'm tired because I wake up, and sometimes I wake up a lot having to urinate a lot from
Right, because the
eating.
grapes have a lot of water in them, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not as bad as when I was eating watermelon during watermelon season,
Hmm.
but um, I do wake up like at least once or twice a night. You know, just eating the grapes and not supplementing with any water or any tea.
Do you take any supplements too, or just the
Nope.
grapes?
No. When I started the first month when I
Mhm.
started, I was taking a lot of teas, but then once I got into November, I started Orville Douglas's fruit challenge in November. I was already on the grapes, so I signed up for his fruit challenge because every other month he has a fruit challenge. I signed up for his fruit challenge in September, but I was moving and I
Mhm.
wasn't really ready to start at that time. So I told him I was like, give me to November. So I had already started the grape fast on September 30th, and I'd already signed up for his fruit challenge in November. So his if you know anything about his fruit challenge, he doesn't recommend any teas or any supplementation. The
Mhm.
only water he will allow you to take on his challenge is distilled water. So so once November came, I didn't I wasn't taking any teas or any additional water, and it was just nothing but grapes. After uh after the time was over, I started taking like some olive leaf extract,
Mhm.
and I was taking that for a little bit, but because I got it for a family member, and they weren't really taking it that much, so I started taking it, and but other than that, I haven't really been supplementing.
Nice. And if before that, did you take like B12 or anything beforehand, or have you ever taken that since you've been
Nah,
planting?
I don't really believe in supplementation. Like,
Mhm.
I don't really believe in supplementation other than like drinking teas.
Okay, that's pretty cool. And the so like how many grapes would you say you eat in a day? Like did you eat more in the beginning and now you kind of have tapered off? Because I hear like, and even with me, I'm on like 24 days of like mostly fruit and a little bit of like lettuce, and it's like I feel like some days I eat a lot and then other days I don't feel like eating as much. It's not really a set amount. Like in the beginning I felt like I had to eat a lot to sustain because I was coming off of cooked food. So,
Yeah, I mean, um, uh, I fill up like uh, a gallon bags. I could go through 2 full gallon bags of grapes, probably about uh, 7 or 8 pounds a day. I don't really worry about how much grapes. I I'll eat I'll eat till I get satisfied. But
yeah.
I have started to intermittent fast. Intermittent fast. I started intermittent fasting when I a couple of I think not long after I started. So I don't eat between. I stop eating most days. I stop eating at 9:30 between 9:30 and 12 in the afternoon. So I try not to eat before 12 o'clock in the day.
Okay. And then so you start around 12 and then do you stay up really late or do you try to like stop eating before you get to bed usually?
It depends on how I feel, but I try to stop. I try to stop at about 9:30.
Mm,
Yesterday I think I did eat eat up to like 11, but that's like a rare occasion.
right. Yeah, I think that's
So
pretty cool when you start.
what's your fasting window and your eating window? Like how what
Mm,
hours you fasting
Well,
until?
since I've been on this, between I stop at 9:30, and then I start back eating at 12.
So from 9:30 in the morning, from 9:30 at night to 12 in the afternoon, or 9:30 in the morning
But
to
Yeah,
12
9:30 at night, he's saying.
yeah,
till 12 in
9:30.
the afternoon. Okay, cool. Wow.
That's
Okay.
pretty much kind of like I sometimes go a little bit later till like 2, 3, 4, sometimes later. But lately I've been eating, usually I get hungry by around 2. So I try to stop at 9:30, but that doesn't always happen. Like you said, sometimes I'm still munching while watching TV. I'm like, another banana. It's so much easier when you're eating fruit. But I do find I sleep a lot better when I don't eat right up until sleeping because your body's digesting it. But with grapes, it might be easier on the digestion because I've not heard that that it's not digesting properly. Like supposedly, that's the cool thing. Fruit is supposed to digest the easiest for us, so I think that frees our body
Yeah,
up
I didn't experience any of that when I was eating grapes for that week. I had like it was flowing through
like
really,
clockwork.
really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that too, and that's weird because when I was eating like a lot of watermelon, it wasn't like that. When I was eating like, because I was eating mainly just watermelon, but I was eating other fruit too. But when I was on that first fruit fast, um, I wasn't going like that. But now that I'm eating just grapes, is much different. And I think about the intermittent fasting. What the good thing, what everything you were saying about the digestion is true. About like your body isn't putting in that much work just digesting fruit, and that's why going on a fruit diet is so healing to most people when they have certain issues. And
Yeah.
I think just focusing on one fruit, especially a fruit like grapes, it allows uh, even better digestion. I think, but the main thing about the eating window, it it trains my mind to be able to not not really if I'm somewhere and for some reason I don't have my grapes with me, or I just run out of grapes, and you know I'm I'm somewhere where I won't have access to grapes. It gives me it builds um my stomach up to where I can say I can I can go without food for a little while longer until I get into excess of my grapes again. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It
Nice.
definitely. I think Dawn, you just said this the other day. You were like, I don't, and we both do. Like, we don't ever eat like usually the first time we're hungry or think we're hungry. Like, it's kind of like you get like an adrenaline rush from not eating sometimes in a weird way when
Right.
you do that.
Yep.
Shoshin 777 said, when you're doing the cleanse, can you keep taking all your supplements? I'm taking quite a lot right now. And hello, Muriel.
Hi, Mariel. Hi,
Um,
everybody.
I mean, I guess it just depends. I wouldn't recommend you stop taking. I mean, because a lot of it, like I don't take. I take my black seed oil, but I really don't take. I don't take I don't take many supplements unless it might be a time where okay, I'm going to take this herb for this particular reason. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And
Or I'm going to.
just to put a disclaimer out there, none of us are professional medical personnel, but this is for educational purposes only. Just to put the
Yeah.
disclaimer out there. Okay,
Mhm.
go ahead, baby. I'm
Yeah, I
sorry.
was just giving a recommend what I would do. I wouldn't
Yeah.
recommend. I wouldn't recommend that you get off your supplements, but if you're on a cleanse, you can just slowly, slowly get off of it while you're on the cleanse. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? You can. keep taking it when you start, and maybe slowly get off of it. Depending on how, you know, how your mind tells you.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of, I think we can get on a routine where we don't listen to our body. And you can tell that you have like, you are on a mission too. You have, must have a lot of energy. I've seen you do like 3 live streams over the last week. So thank you for coming on here too. I'm sure it's exhausting being on so many shows.
Nah, it's I mean, when it was only exhausting because I have a regular job during the day, and I've been I've been working 11, 12 hour shifts for the
Mm,
past couple of weeks, and I'm just starting this new job and trying to get used to it.
yeah.
Kind of a different gear shift from the job I was used to. Um, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Have you had other people reach out to you that have the same like condition or symptoms to varying degrees that are inspired by your journey?
I had one person. Oh, she's actually a bodybuilder. She has cerebral palsy. She she didn't reach out to me. Somebody connected me to her, and she's inspiring to me. And she was just telling me, she was just encouraging me to start working out more because I'm on this grape fast, and you can tell that I've lost a lot of weight, and a lot of people that have known me are like, you know, you're like, your skin looks wonderful, your hair looks wonderful, but you're losing a lot of weight.
Right.
Right, right, right.
Not it doesn't really bother me at all because it doesn't bother me at all because I'm not doing this for weight purposes anyway. Because once if I choose to get off this tomorrow and I start back eating cooked foods, or maybe even going back to a raw food diet where I'm eating more fatty foods, then my weight is going to come back, obviously. So
Hmm.
I don't really worry about when people say, you
I don't
need to,
blame you.
you need to put on some weight, because I'm not doing it for
Yeah.
weight purposes at all. I
Well,
don't. I think I might have weighed myself, maybe maybe 2 or 3 times out of curiosity, and that was just so that I could be able to say that when somebody asks. But I'm not at all worried about how much I weigh.
I think a lot
Right.
of times too, what I hear in a lot of the groups is people have an image of what they think people are supposed to look like, and a lot of the world actually is, in a higher weight range. So when they see you getting healthy, sometimes it's like you don't look as like you did before, quote unquote, normally do. So it's gonna look like, especially if you haven't seen them in a while, sometimes if you see somebody every day, you see that slow progression. But like if I don't see people for like 9, 10 months, and they look at me like, oh look, you lost weight, but like I always thought I lose too much weight when I go on a raw diet, but this time I noticed this journey of raw, since I've been doing more and more fruit and some, like you said, fatty fruit, like avocados and stuff. I've actually been able to maintain my weight for the first time, because a lot of times that would kind of, derail my journey, because I'd start getting those people would get in my head like, you're losing too much weight, you're going to lose muscle and that and this. And then I'd begin to eat cooked food, and then it would go down a bad time, because I'd use the vegan junk food. You know what I mean? So I feel like this time I'm really feeling good being raw and maintaining that in a way that I'm like not continuing to lose weight. But I can imagine with a mono fruit, I think I've talked to people though, eventually your weight does kind of level out after a while, right? Like even if you're still doing grapes, I think, have you heard that in the groups that eventually your body will figure out its natural weight?
Yeah, I've heard that from people. I've seen there's one guy in particular. Uh, he did 90. I mean, he did 59 days or 60 days on watermelon, and he finished about maybe like 2 months ago, and he started adding avocados back into his diet. And I'm not sure if he said he leveled out, but I could imagine he put back on a little more weight than he had. But he's like me. He uh he doesn't seem at all concerned about how much he weighs.
Right. Yeah, I think that people put too much focus on it. And if you do weigh yourself constantly, it could like just drive you crazy because it goes up and down. And especially if you're trying to lose weight, you can get off course of the process of just eating healthy.
Mhm.
And, you know, and do, like Dawn was saying earlier, one day at a time, you know what I mean? And
Mhm.
that's the way to do it. Dawn's been doing great. You've been raw for probably what 15 days now at least.
Yes, I'm coming up on my second week. Tomorrow makes 2 weeks that I've been raw. So
See, you're
I've been
inspiring
eating,
all of us.
yeah, I've been eating primarily fruit, clementines, mostly grapes, a few bananas here and there. And then I've been eating some salads too. So, but mostly fruit and
Oh,
grapes, mostly grapes.
yeah,
So,
and that's the one thing about grapes. Like I've always liked grapes,
me
but
too.
I never, I never knew. I don't never really knew how much I liked grapes until I did this. Like,
Right.
like
Right?
wow, I actually really like. I mean, I knew I liked grapes enough because I was eating them almost every day. You know,
Hmm.
when I would pack my lunch for work, I would have a bag of grapes. I would. So I guess in my mind, I didn't know that I would be eating nothing but grapes for 4 months, but um, I didn't know I didn't know how much I love grapes. It was kind of the same thing when I did my last fast, and I realized how much I love watermelon. Like I was
Yeah,
me
that's
and
my second favorite. Summertime. Oh my God. Watermelon,
Yeah, we
watermelon,
can't wait
watermelon.
for that.
I was saying to myself like I could definitely see myself um, mono eating watermelon. And one thing about watermelon too, to me, is it's a really good, powerful cleansing fruit. But like,
Yeah.
especially the ones with the seeds, like if I want to get a little, if I'm missing out on some of that, like a solid tasting food, I think the seeds of the watermelon kind of satisfies the what I'm missing from eating solid food.
Hmm.
Like when I'm eating the watermelon, I actually crave the seeds as well.
Oh, really?
Wow, that's
Pretty
interesting.
cool. Yeah, I've heard of that. So like they like do they are they hard to chew? Like how do you crunch they crunch down like you can actually like chew them up? Because I've heard of people eating the watermelon, like the black seeds or the white ones.
We're both. I mean, the
Both.
seeds.
Like what?
Yeah, both.
Both,
Yeah.
right? Give
Like
me all the seeds.
especially if I'm eating nothing but fruit, I'm like I find myself, and then too when I was in Atlanta, there was a co-op grocery store in downtown in downtown Atlanta, and uh, in the little 5 Points area, and they used to have like they had a snack where it was like the watermelon seeds, and it was like dehydrated watermelon seeds with like sea salt, and it tasted so good. So I
Oh,
think that might be
Really?
why I craved them so much. I was
yeah,
already eating
that
that as
sounds
a snack.
good.
Hmm.
Wow, that's interesting. Might have to try that.
Yeah,
I
Because we have a dehydrator. We could throw some watermelon seeds in there and put a little bit of sea salt on there.
yeah,
That
yeah.
yeah.
sounds
That dehydrator. I tell you what, you know, getting into like raw foods, that dehydrator, that's like a must have. I
Have
remember.
you put grapes in it yet and made raisins?
Oh, I haven't. I mean, that sounds like a good idea. I haven't tried it. It's actually been probably about 2 years since I used my dehydrator. I'm about I need to get me a new one, especially since I moved. But but like that dehydrator, because I remember one of my one of my former coworkers, uh, after I turned vegan, she was like, two things you gotta get. She was like a Vitamix and a dehydrator, and she was right. You know, those
Yeah.
two things. If you got those, you covered.
And I think a lot
Yep.
of times, probably with your grape fast, you're trying to keep the water, in them for the cleansing. So, like, probably later on, after you, if you go raw, like the dehydrator tends to be good for like you can make other stuff with it, right? Like I've seen people make wraps to like roll up, that they can put salads in the wraps and stuff out of the dehydrator with raw food. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
I've seen people make fruit roll ups, and
Really nice.
I mean, it's a good tool to have because I can just experiment with stuff that especially when I'm eating a lot of vegetables, and like not just straight fruits. When I'm eating a lot of vegetables, there's so much experimentation that you can do with them, like dehydrating, slicing up okra and dehydrating them, seasoning it up with cayenne pepper and stuff like that. Just experimenting with stuff like just let me see what I can do, like
Right,
without no
right.
direction at all. Just
Right, still staying on the diet, but getting creative so you don't get like bored. Hey, I wanted to read this comment. Shoshin said, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. I'm 39, just got diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. Few people told me that I can reverse it doing this, but I don't have access to seeded grapes. I'm also scared of the healing crisis. Yeah, I mean, I've heard seeded grapes are good, but I would think that just regular grapes could be.
yeah, I would just if you're gonna do a grape fast, or just try grapes, or try berries, or try melons. I would go. I would go. You can't go wrong with Dr. Morse. If you're dealing with like a neurological condition, you want to stick with berries and melons. Uh, Grapes are considered a berry, so I would either do grapes. It doesn't have to be seeded. You know,
Mhm.
or even better would probably be the berries
You'll be
and
in my
melons.
thoughts and prayers too that
Yeah,
that
yeah,
gets
and
reversed.
yeah, and melons too. Melons too are good for neurological conditions.
And then
Melons,
is that like you researched that probably about neurological conditions based on like, is that condition that you have, is it neurological? Is that where it stems
yeah,
from?
it's a motor neurological. It's a deficiency in the brain that that uh, affects like your motor skills and stuff. It affects the rest of your body. So yeah, it is a motor neurological. But just like I learned from Dr. Morse, a lot of those motor neurological conditions, it take it take it take at least a year. It would take about a year to really get like a drastic change. But I've seen a lot of progress just in 90 days on just fruits. So me doing grapes, you know, I'm healing even more. You know what I mean?
I mean, you're
And
doing
Yeah.
great. Like
even if,
you seem like, you are just clicking on all cylinders there. Like you definitely have like impressed me with everything that you've been doing.
Hey, fun fact. Did you know melon and lemon was the same word? Just switched the L and the M.
Look, we're learning so much here, not only about
There you
grapes,
go.
but we're learning
and
about
and
word games. I love it.
and and they're probably they're probably like two of the most cleansing fruits that you can have.
I love
Melons,
lemons.
lemons are very very astringent. And uh, well, she was saying that she said something about the healing crisis. I tell you what, when I did my first fruit fast back in back over the summer, I didn't get any healing crisis, and I was actually upset. I'm like, why didn't I get any healing crisis? I did over 90 days on this sweet water dense fruit, and I'm not getting any healing crisis. So I stopped. And around that time, that's when my brother saw me, and he was just complimenting me. He was just talking about how much taller I'm standing, and just giving me all these compliments, and it wasn't like he didn't. I don't think he knew what I was doing. Knew what I was doing, so he just noticed the change, and even my coworkers, they were just noticing the change. A lot of them, of course, my coworkers knew after a few days, but were complimenting me on the changes. A little bit of the changes that was going on. This was over the summer, and I wasn't getting any detox symptoms. So this, when I started doing, after I did the grapes, I got to like day 95, and all of a sudden, I cruised along over 3 months, no detox symptoms, and then out of nowhere,
Wow.
I just started itching really bad. Just started
Hmm.
itching really, and then
Wow.
started asking people in the groups. I'm like, is anybody else? Did anybody else get any like detox symptoms after 3 months? Like this itching, and then there's another lady. She had just did she had just did 106 days on grapes, and she was like, "Yeah, I I." She hit me up in message and was telling me that she had the same symptoms after around the 90-day mark, and then she told me that uh, the guy that did 160 days on the watermelon, he said around 90 days he had the same thing going on with him. So it finally, I was actually as bad as those detox symptoms were, you know, um, I was actually happy that I was getting them because it kind of
And
gave
then
me
you were like healing, right?
more
Right.
assurance
It's a
that
sign of healing. Yeah.
because it was pretty rough. It was pretty rough, uh, like for like a couple of days. Like I would have like an itching feeling, like in my head area, like my ears, like my upper body, and I wasn't there were no rashes or anything like external. But I just had like an itching feeling, and then other people were telling me like, yeah, they went through the same thing, so I didn't feel bad, you know.
Right. Right.
And
Well,
so
that's
these
good.
is that like because there's toxins coming out of the skin? Is that what the itching I wonder is? Have you done any
That's what they say. But I hadn't. But it's weird because I like my skin was clear, no rashes or
mm-hmm.
anything. But it was just like a feeling. It was
Yeah.
like but it's gone now.
Oh, good. And so it lasted
Nice.
like a couple of days. So it doesn't sound, and I think it comes from different levels of where you begin from. Like if you're eating probably, like a lot of dairy and meat and you are a lot of junk food and processed food, and then you try to like just skirt and go on all grapes, you probably end up with, I
You'll
would
shock
think,
your body.
better detox, more detox in the beginning, right? Or does it, because you were already
Yeah,
eating fairly clean, I think.
yeah. Because I was reading that book, reading the Grape Cure. The lady, you know, she was talking about how like within in some cases a couple of days people were getting like detox symptoms and reactions, and I'm like, I'm doing this. This is way more intense than just eating a bunch of different fruits. I'm just eating one
Yeah.
fruit for 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 months now, and I'm not getting any reaction. And then boom, out of nowhere, I'm getting that.
Nice.
It's almost like we're giving our body the opportunity to not have to work so hard on how do I digest that? How do I put these two, digestive enzymes together and all that hard work when you just eat one thing.
Right.
I think is what I've heard why one fruit is so healing to like stick to, and fruit itself heals, but or allows the body to heal. I guess the fruit doesn't heal, but our body is trying to heal itself, and we're just kind of putting in the right mechanism to help it do that. I don't know if I know how to pronounce that, but again, I don't think any of us are like medical
I think
doctors.
it's called Herxheimer's or something. It's called Herxheimer's reaction, Herxheimer's, something
Yeah.
like that.
I think I lost Michelle's comment here. I don't seem to know. My computer won't scroll down, but I think she was saying that she hasn't been losing weight now, and she's been on Raw for a while. And if anything, I've gained a few pounds, and I'm okay with that. Okay, I got you. Yeah, that's how I am.
Yeah.
I could stand to gain a few sometimes. I feel like when I'm raw, right? Oh, and let's see. What could I do to get rid of costochondritis and then also pituitary tumor, non-cancerous? And then we have a question about dreams we'll get to after that. Do you know what any of those can do? I mean, I assume like the cleansing, anything it can, not hurt
Oh,
again, the diagnosis, but still like whatever you would do, I guess let them know.
when reading that book, reading the Great Pure book, they talk. They go in about all the different conditions, um, that based on other people, that because the lady, she she was like a holistic practitioner herself. After she cured her cancer, and she worked with other different people, and she helped people get rid of their tumors. Like tumors were gone within like 3 4 weeks on grapes, because it's so pulling. It pulls everything out of you. So I mean, I think that eating grapes could I think that it could help with tumors,
Mm-hmm.
based on what I've read. And because even the lady herself had a lot of tumors, cancerous tumors, that she got rid of within the 6 weeks of eating those grapes. I would recommend, I would recommend everyone that's like, you know, plant based, get that book, because it's a powerful book, because it goes in on the effects of detoxing, and what to expect, and it also goes into the of course, the power of grapes and the constitution of it, the nutrients. Like, you'd be surprised. People will say to me, "Well, you aren't getting enough nutrients from eating grapes,"
Or
and
protein and all this and that.
I don't think that's true, because even the book goes into um, the 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 nutrient denseness of the grapes, and it is more nutrient dense than people expect. I think that a lot of people want to go by their conventional wisdom, but we can't really count how much nutrients we're getting from every food that we eat. When we're eating junk food, you know good and well we're not getting any nutrients from most of that stuff. You know.
Exactly. And that's what I think is so funny when you're doing something really healthy like this, like in a lot of times just in general public, you'll hear a lot of, flack about it, kind of, for lack of a better term. People will be
Mhm.
like, you're not going to be healthy just eating that. This is dangerous. But yet when we're eating all these crazy terrible foods, no one says a word to us, when people are sitting down at Thanksgiving with tons of butter and oil and
Yeah.
biscuits and everything. It's like, no, everybody's like, no, that's normal. But like when you do something to like cleanse your body, I think that's just the way the world is. There's a very like small minority of people who kind of, I feel like, understand the principles of how the body can heal itself. And there's got to be like a mindset, for that. Hey, Danny, welcome in. The book was called The Grape Cure by Johanna Brandt. The Hardens 1017 was asking. And Richard said, Jen, can you please ask him about the dreams? Does he have dreams that come true? Oh, I haven't heard of that.
I It's weird. I haven't had any vivid dreams on grapes. Uh, it's weird. Like, certain herbs I take might give me vivid dreams. Like, for some reason, when I take milk thistle, I have really vivid dreams. You know, and vivid dreams and nightmares. But I haven't had any. I haven't had any dreams. I haven't had any dreams that I could really make uh, remember or account for. Um, I haven't had any dreams that came true. Not yet. The dream I have is to live in another country somewhere, like in like South America or Central America or somewhere in Europe or somewhere like that. It hasn't come true yet, but I'm sure it will because I don't want to live in the city for my whole life.
Yeah.
I want to. I mean, as you can tell, I love fruit and I love you know nice tasting vegetables and things like that. I would rather live somewhere in the tropics or somewhere
Where you can grow your own, right?
where I can grow or and even have access to that stuff. So
I don't know if Miss Mary's here, but she has that tower garden. She's going to come on here and talk to us about where she actually grows her own food. But I don't think you can do grapes on it, but you can do like different greens and some fruits on it. So that'll be pretty cool too. And I was something I wanted to ask you. I think it was two different things. Oh, in that book, you might have already mentioned this. I might have been reading the comments at the time, but she talks about some things that you mentioned in another live stream. Like she does also speak of non-plant based things that you wouldn't necessarily recommend, right? Or it's just a
Mhm.
part of the book.
Oh yeah, she talks about well after you do the fast, she kind of talks about she recommends like milk products and cheese and like non-dairy. I mean like dairy products and certain breads and stuff like that. After you get off the grapes. But like you said, I don't recommend it at all. But
And that was a
that's
long time ago, right?
yeah,
This book was written in like 1950, maybe, or
I think it was written like in like 1920s, maybe.
20s.
Mhm.
So yeah, they may not have known the dangers of some stuff
But
then.
Yeah, that's a while ago.
but even when she brings it up, is mainly just like after the person gets off the detox.
Mhm.
It's not necessarily a part of what she prescribes. When you're actually doing the grapes, when you're on the grapes, she just recommends that you stick to the grapes and stuff.
That's cool. And um the I was gonna ask you, like, I noticed that like you were talking about your brothers and stuff, they've been okay with you being vegan. How's this been like socially for you? Is it difficult like when you go to eat and stuff, or do you just not go out as much with them, or how
Oh
does it
no,
work? Just
like,
bring your grapes with you?
I'm an influence to them. I'm definitely an influence to them. Like one of my brothers, he had been eating grapes, only grapes for uh, a few days last week. So and well, actually, both of my brothers have told me that since I've been doing it, like they've had days where they've only eaten grapes. Um, so it doesn't like my two brothers in particular. They don't. It doesn't. Uh, they always been very respectful of my diet, and like I said, even they themselves um, are lean towards more of a plant based diet than anything. Um,
That's good.
and I have one of my other friends, you know, she's not vegan right now, but I've been out with her a few times, and we've gone to you know to before I started this to a few vegan spots since I moved back to Maryland. So it isn't really it doesn't really like though people some of the people that are closest to me they they they're very respectful of my diet, and even they themselves, they aspire to eat healthier, so they don't really mind it. They would they a lot of times they love to go to a lot of these plant based establishments
Hmm.
or vegan friendly establishments. You know what I mean? Um, like, but like going to like a lot of my family functions, it's more of a different story. They
Hmm.
they gonna eat what they're gonna eat,
Hmm.
and even it hasn't really been an issue with me because I've been on this grape fast anyway, so them eating what they're eating wouldn't don't really affect me because I'm not gonna. Even if I wasn't on this grape diet, I wouldn't be eating what they're eating anyway. So you know, it's not really a challenge to me.
Right.
Right. Whether you're eating grapes or not, you're not incorporating the same food they are, right? That's so cool.
Yeah, I've been to. I this year I done been to Thanksgiving dinner with my family, and I have a big family uh, on my mother's side, and the same thing with Christmas, and I didn't waver at all, and they're just sitting back looking at me like in awe, like, wow, I can't believe you're just over here just eating this bag of grapes this whole time. I'm like, yeah,
Hmm.
Is
I,
that what you did? You took some grapes with you on both of those holidays?
yeah,
Yeah,
Right.
nice,
Yeah, that's right.
nice.
You did it all through the holiday. We had,
Yeah,
remember we took the clementines with us this
yep,
Thanksgiving,
I do.
and we
Hmm.
had everybody eating them. Of course, that was for their dessert, not their main course like we were.
yeah,
But that's okay. It's still we got them eating some fruit, right?
yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. Mhm. So
Richard
I
wanted to know. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, so me doing that, like going through those, because I know people have asked me like, well, how'd you go through the holidays? I'm like, I already got it in my mind that I'm doing these 4 months. There's nothing that's gonna turn me away from
Hmm.
finishing early, especially in November. I was a month in. Wasn't gonna stop after a month, and then same thing with Christmas. I'm like I'm already I'm already 3 months in, and there's no point in me stopping now.
Right.
Right, right.
You're on a mission. You have a goal. So like nothing environmentally, once you're that strong mentally, it seems like you have a very strong mind. I'm so glad that you found the holistic healing and stop, putting yourself through a lot of things that were only, temporary. Hopefully this is more of a, detox cleansing of the body. I'm really happy and proud of you for doing that. That's like, that's a difficult thing to do from someone who could only get through 2 days of the grapes. So I'm really appreciative of you coming and sharing this with us. Do you have time for a few more questions?
Oh, sure, I'll be glad to.
Richard wanted to know, does he do fasting as well? I think you mentioned the intermittent fasting, right? Between 9:30 usually and like noon during the day. But do you do extended fasts too?
I haven't done an extended fast now in a really long time. A couple of years ago, I did a 3 day dry fast. I did three 3 day dry fast 3 weeks in a row. I did 72 hour dry fast, and then the following week I did a 72 hour dry fast, and then the following week I did a 72 hour dry fast, and I did them 3 weeks in a row. And I think at that time I had built myself up to I would just take one day out the week and not eat. So then I ended up after I started doing like going a day out the week without eating. I ended up doing 3 day dry fast, but that was a couple of years ago. I want to do it again. I would I would like to build up the mental capacity to do it again, and I think that I might try that. Um, I actually had someone uh, who is trained under Lauren Lockman.
Hmm.
He messaged me. I don't know if he's in one of the groups that I'm in, but he messaged me about 2 weeks ago, and he was telling me that I need to look into doing a water fast, and he said that could help my condition as well. He told me that water fasting would yield me quicker results than doing the fruit fast. And he sent me a few videos about water fasting. And his son actually he told me his son has cerebral palsy, and he
Oh,
said
really?
it helped him.
Oh,
His
nice.
son doesn't have it at the extent that I do, but he said that it helped him like basically get rid of it. And so he reached out to me when he found out I had cerebral palsy, and he told me, he said, if I can do if I can do over 90 days with grapes, I shouldn't have it shouldn't be too much of an issue for me to do uh 30-day water fast. And other people told me the same thing. Other people have told me,
I was just thinking that if you have the mental capacity and the discipline to do grapes for, 4 months,
mhm.
a 30-day water fast should be a walk in the park for you.
He told me, he said the same. I've had other people tell me that it's a completely different animal. But as you can tell, if once I actually start to do it, when after like the first day or two, I don't think I'll have a problem
Yeah,
with
because you got
doing
the
it.
mental discipline. So that's the main common denominator. If you got that, that's all you need, and you do.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I really want to try it. I don't, I don't want to jump like right into it like
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
tomorrow. I want to like really, I want to think about it, like mentally brace myself
Yes.
when I do it.
yeah, yeah,
My mind is ready for it, because just like with the grapes, it's more of a mental thing than anything. And
yeah.
if your mind isn't ready for it, then you're not gonna,
You're gonna waver. You're gonna
yeah,
go on and off of it. You're not gonna stick it out.
yeah.
And I was
So
ready to go raw vegan. This will be my first time going past 2 weeks, but I know I'm gonna go past it because
you
today
did.
I had yeah, yeah. Well, you know what? I haven't made it past 2 weeks of going raw vegan
I've
yet.
only been
So
telling her for 5 years. I'm just kidding.
yeah, yeah. So I'm determined this time that I want to do it. I mean, I want to do it for a minimum of 6 months. So, and I'm hoping to just switch over and just become raw vegan permanently.
Mhm.
But yeah, I want to try to minimally do it 6 months this time out, and I haven't even done it past 2 weeks. So tomorrow will be the end of my second week. So I'm at a milestone now because normally I don't make it past 2 weeks.
I'm
Oh, you
So
sorry.
can do it. You can do it, especially if long, like I said, as long as if you got it in your mind, like mentally prepare yourself, because that helps too. As long
yeah,
as you mentally prepare yourself, and you can, okay, you mentally prepare yourself. Okay, this is where I'm going to shop. I got access to this food, that food. That makes it easier too. If you know what you have, just like with the grapes, like I was saying with the grapes, like because I knew I had access to the grapes, you know, that made it much easier because I don't have to worry about going to several different places and worry about, okay, I done ran out of grapes. Where am I gonna get my grapes from? You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
that's
right,
true. Because
right, right.
John's been keeping a constant supply of fruit, and I
Mhm.
think that's helped, right? Because you don't have that time to, oh well, you can justify things sometimes. Well, can't find grapes. Guess I'll
Yeah.
eat this,
Yeah,
this, this, or this. Our mind
right.
tends to want to take us there.
And that was the same way, even just when I switched over to becoming vegan. When I switched over to becoming vegan almost 10 years ago, I had been thinking about going vegan for over a year before I became vegan. But I built myself up to it because when I before I became vegan, you know, it's a funny thing. Before you become vegan, it's like you don't really realize how how much more options that you have
Hmm.
on a plant-based diet. When you were eating animal products, you weren't thinking about the variety of fruits
Yeah.
of foods that's out there. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Once I became vegan, or even like, when I was preparing myself to become vegan, I was going to all these different Asian markets and farmers markets, and then you start to realize, okay, there's a whole lot more options out here. You can definitely do this. You know what I mean? There's way more food options being plant based than it is, when you're eating meat products, and it's like you're eating you're eating chicken, you're eating turkey, you're eating pork. If you or a pork eater, you eat all these different animals. It might only be about 3 or 4 different animals you choosing from,
Right.
Mhm.
as
Right.
opposed to
And then
each.
the other stuff is an afterthought. And then you
Yeah,
realize, oh wow, look at all this stuff, right? Thank you,
Not to mention
Muriel.
you
Thank
can eat
you.
quite a
You
bit.
got this.
yeah,
Yeah, that not to mention you can eat quite a bit. You can eat pretty much graze all day long because all you're eating is fruits, you know, and mixed in with a few vegetables like in a salad or something. And you don't have to worry about putting on a bunch of weight, you know what I mean? Not that, grazing all day is good either. You want to give your digestion a rest, you know what I mean? But even if you were to do that, you're eating fruit.
yeah.
You're eating fruits and vegetables and it's raw. So yeah,
Especially vegan,
good.
cooked vegan. I mean, yeah, there's tons of even like, but the varieties of like fruits, like you said, vegetables that people can't imagine. And then if you're eating like vegan products, there's so many of them, so many combinations that you can put together with beans and stuff. Um, yeah, Muriel has been on her 10-day fruit fast, so congratulations. She has to go, she said.
Good
And
job,
this
Mariel.
awesome go Zepaul. And I was
Zepaul, you make me want some grapes. Like when this stream is over, I'm probably gonna go ahead
I
and eat some
know, me
grapes.
too. I can't wait. I'm like Jones over grapes, right? He was like
Yeah.
so inspiring on this because you make it sound easy, but you're also very honest in it that there was struggles through it, which lets people know it's a journey, but like your mind is like you can tell you are ready to heal and ready to get this, going, and like you're doing everything that you can, which is so like commendable.
And that's just. I mean, that's just my mind. Like I'm just one of those. I'm just one of those people. Like I'm eager to take on a task. Like I know that even if I don't cure my cerebral palsy all the way, I'm gonna greatly improve it over
Hmm.
time
Mhm.
because my willingness to, and like I said, I've done these fruit fasts. I've done these last 2 fruit fasts in the past maybe 6 to 9 months, and I've seen more progression than I have, you know, having operations when I was a kid. Like I've
That's
gotten so
awesome.
much progress just in the past few months.
Do you
That's
think the
amazing.
that is amazing? Do you think like when did you start to see like the most improvements? Was it like the second month or a second week, or like did it just start early, or did you just start seeing them like when you got into that like third and fourth month?
Well, when I did my first fruit fast, I saw some. Well, like I said, my brother was seeing the progress. I didn't really see it. I didn't really notice it. Just like a lot of things, you don't really notice the minute changes like someone else does. When
Hmm.
and even if they don't even know what you're doing and they tell you and they notice some changes, then you know that it's real. It's more real coming from someone else. Um, and then now I'm starting to see a little bit more progress after 3 months in, after I started getting those detox symptoms, you know, and my body is still healing. And I've been told from other people, they say like even if I stop today, my is even the weeks following, my body's going to still continue to heal because it's still
Hmm.
on a cellular level.
You've jump started it, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're like you've already got your like how people say their metabolism gets better when they eat healthy. You're getting yours. That's what is happening, right? From what you've researched, like your cells can actually change from healing, right?
Yeah. And this definitely won't be my last detox that I do. Like I said, I'm not exactly sure when I'm gonna do the water fast, but that's definitely something that I want to take on. Uh, Probably in about a month or two, and then once springtime hits and it's watermelon season, I'm going to do another uh, you know, fruit detox for 3 or 4 months. So
Okay, well,
I
cool. You might have to come
definitely,
talk to me about that and Dawn, so we can hear about that journey too and your improvements.
yeah,
Um,
Absolutely.
I and then I really want, I really want to try to get into doing like more like fasting, maybe like a day dry fasting and stuff like that. I know Eli talks about it too. Talks about
Yeah.
doing
yeah, he
fasting.
just did like 3 days, I think, recently. I think I almost saw one of his videos. And then we were talking to him last night about how he barely eats sometimes. So it definitely,
And that's amazing. That's all he's having. He's having a retreat. I'm hoping like maybe next year I can go to one of his retreats because I I just I got a bunch of leave on my job. I just I just need a reason to use it.
there you go. And that'd be a good way to use it to learn and educate ourselves. I know it's like I always see those fruit festivals and they look so fun.
I see. I think they having that. What's that? That fruit fest. That what they call it? That Woodstock
Woodstock.
festival. Yeah.
And then yeah, Woodstock, Tanglewood. He was talking about Woodstock Fruit Festival, I think, because Don Bennett, who comes on here a lot, I don't know if you were on his page. He was talking about he's there, so his responses might be a little slower. So he's like a I guess what he like is into natural hygiene and disease avoidance and things like that. And he's at a fruit fest. I know a lot of the fruitarians on there that we look at are at these fruit fests, and it's probably going to look so fun. I'm going to be jealous when they're in the nice warm weather and I'm over here in the cold, right? Trying to find a grape and a thing.
And an orange.
Yeah.
Can't go up in the tree and just get my own fruit, right?
Right.
Well,
Uh,
right now, this year, I'm eating nothing but grapes, so it wouldn't make a difference to
it
me.
wouldn't make a difference, right? You
And
got grapes. That's important.
I ain't trying to break my fast. I mean, I probably would break my fast for that, but I'd be after I leave, be right back on the grapes until I decide to finally break my detox.
Do you think you'll go past 120 days if you feel
Oh, I'm almost there. I'll be there Monday. That's nothing.
right? You are on a
Mhm.
roll here. You might be the longest Guinness Book of World Records great.
And some people are saying that they haven't heard anybody that went this long, but you never know nowadays. Like I said, that one guy, he did 100, and he says he did 160 days on watermelon, and he's about as skinny as me. So I had a reason to lie.
Right. There's a couple more questions I had, and then we'll wrap up. I know I've kept you forever. I think somebody in the comments wanted to know what kind of herbs do you take. I think you talked about it a little bit. Is that the black seed oil, or you don't take that now that you're on the
No,
cleanse?
I'm not taking that now. I have actually bought some soursop leaves for a family member that's dealing with cancer. I just bought some, and I might start taking that. Might start taking that because soursop is a really good herb to take. Like I say, I'm I love herbs. I'm a herbal enthusiast. Uh, so I do take herbs every now and then. I love making teas and taking different teas. So I'm definitely. Uh, there has been points in this fast where I have taken teas. So, but right now I haven't been on any herbs.
What kind of grapes do you eat? Do you eat the red
The
grapes?
red, the red. I've only been able to find with the seeds. I've only been able to find like the reddish, purplish grapes,
Hmm.
and I was able to find the Concord grapes, but uh, they must be out of season now because I can't find them at all.
I
And,
love
and I
Right.
mean, those Concord, it was actually
I love Concord grapes. Oh
me
yeah,
my
too.
me
You're
too.
God.
gonna make us
Oh
start craving them.
The thing
no,
about
Jen, you haven't had them yet. Those ones you
Oh,
had.
those weren't the right ones? Oh, I thought they
No,
said
not real
Concord.
Concord.
Mm.
the Concord grapes are good, and it was actually it made it. I mean, not that made it a lot. Not that eating grapes have been boring for me because I'm not tired of them, but it gave me more variety. I was
Yeah.
eating the purple grapes and the Concord grapes, and the Concord grapes, they kind of like my dad was saying because he was eating them too, and he was like, "Man, these grapes are really good." He was like, "Man, these grapes they taste like berries. They don't even taste like grapes. I mean, well, I guess like Dr. Moore said, grapes are
Yeah, they're
like
different.
in the berry family, but they taste like berries. They're really a different type of
Yeah.
sweet. Hmm.
Mhm. And
Yep.
that
And
helps.
different texture too.
Yeah, but I did notice with those because I they had like they had them at this store called Wegmans, but I would have to buy like a lot more of them. It
Yeah,
would
because it's
take
so little. They're
Yeah,
very
it would
little.
take. Yeah, it would take more of
They're
them.
like blueberries, Jen.
Yeah, they
Mm.
they are. Yeah, and they're
We
really
had
sweet.
something. It must have been an imitation kind
It
then, because
it
they
was.
tasted like
It
grape juice.
disappointed me because I'm like, damn it, these are not Concords. True
And then
Concords have like a slimier texture. You know what I
we
mean?
Yeah,
ordered
they
them
used
again,
to.
and they brought us
When,
black grapes, and I liked the black grapes too. A couple of
yeah,
weeks ago, but then we couldn't find them. It's like they only seem to have the red ones mostly,
yeah,
or
yeah.
green.
Because I'm able to find like the red ones in the. I've had a couple of them that were more like purplish, like really dark purple, like the farmers market I get it from. Sometimes I would get there'd be like more darker dark red is more purplish. But yeah, most of what I've been getting has just been the regular red reddish grapes, red globe type.
Hmm.
Michelle said she's allergic to the Concord when she tried them before, but I'll try them again. Yeah, try it again. Maybe your body can change as long as it's not a bad reaction. I don't want to tell you to try them, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Shoshin said, "Congratulations! Not many people can do this." Yes, everybody's talking about they're getting more grapes. And Richard said, "Oh, he was talking to Muriel, and thanks for the encouragement." And yeah, what he says true. Congratulations. Not many people can do this for sure. Like it's definitely like a thing that there that's why everybody's so interested. And have you always been like on YouTube and kind of on social media, or is this something you did specifically because you wanted to tell about your journey and inspire people?
Well, actually, after I started doing this grape journey, I uh, started just documenting it on YouTube because my father was telling me, he said, you need to document it. So I said, I'll just do videos once a week and to just basically talk about where I'm at with on this grape diet. And really, it wasn't until probably about a month ago, where I got to like closer to 90 days, where I felt like, okay, I want to really be more consistent with documenting it. So I've been more consistent with once a week, just posting where I'm at, you know, as far as, on this grapes. And even um, it's going to make me more want to document more my whole healing journey in general. Like even after I get off this fruit diet, you know, I'm gonna start on to something else. Maybe not right away. Start on to when I do my water fast. I want to document that and see uh, and speak to an audience or anybody that might be looking to um, looking to reverse whatever illness they have,
Hmm.
no matter what it is, whether it's Parkinson, and they can see they can see from my journey, um, you know, get some inspiration, just like I get from watching your interviews when you're interviewing people that have done these types of fasts or have
Hmm.
done or just eating the diet that we are all on. um, it gives us inspiration.
Yeah.
So I want to. It gives me an outlet to be able to uh, give myself an accountability to be more proactive in my healing journey and to give other people inspiration.
Definitely. You should just
That's
keep
awesome.
doing it, whether you're eating a mono fast or not. Because I mean, a mono fruit or not, because you have a lot of, inspiration in you just from that journey. I think people want to hear what you have to say. So, and I think just to make sure, I think you gave me all the links. We have them in the description, how you can reach you. I think you posted some of your pages there. Um, how they can find you. And is your YouTube linked in there where you're documenting the journey too? If
I'm
not,
not
let
sure.
me know. I
Yeah,
can.
I'll send that. I'll send that to you.
Okay.
If I didn't, I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, if you get a chance, send that and I'll make sure it's linked for everyone, or you can just put it in the comments under the video too. And once it's over, we can, if there's comments, then I'll let him know if you guys have additional, questions. And Dawn, do you have any other questions for
No,
him?
I just
Or
want
let
to,
this man
I,
go eat his grapes.
yeah, I just want to congratulate you on your journey and, yeah, keep pushing forward. And I look forward to tracking you and seeing how far you go with it.
Yeah,
And
we're really
I'm sure
hoping to
I'm.
see
But
you.
I watch you guys all the time, and you guys
Thank
have
you.
people come back a lot. So I would I wouldn't. I'm sure I'll be back on here soon.
Awesome.
Definitely. You should come on and just keep us posted about your journey.
Give us an update
Yeah.
yeah,
However many times you
every
want, we're
time.
here. We're always here. We basically work and come on YouTube. That's like our
Mhm.
thing. I know Dawn said she's like on a live stream probably longer than she sleeps sometimes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Between the two shows. I really appreciate it. Is there any like, you're just so inspiring. We thank you for coming on. You're welcome. Please return anytime too. And what else? Is there anything in closing you want to say to everyone?
No, I just wanted to say, I appreciate the support, and I appreciate the support, and just if you have any feedback that you want to give me, or encouragement or advice, just feel free to do it. Because it just motivates me to keep going, and
All right.
even in this like this community, you know, it's good because it's an inspiration to keep you know for us to move forward as far as improving our health. You know what I mean? Because I wouldn't be taking on this this grape diet if I didn't have platforms like this to listen to help me even motivate me to even get through with it. So
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
I
Awesome.
love it. That's why I love the vegan groups, and I'm so appreciative that subscribe to the channel and that you watch the videos. It helps so much to help get the word out there, and I love what you're doing. I love your journey, and I'll be sharing everything that you do. And Zepaul, congratulations, brother, and we appreciate your time, and we've learned a lot. Richard said, yes, we are so thankful for you coming on here. You have so much knowledge that you've learned over this, and I think you can tell you're continuing to heal and
mhm.
feel good, and it's showing all of us what the power of the body can do, and the power of the grapes. So thank you.
Thank you. It was good
Thank you.
meeting you. Yep.
Nice to
Nice
meet
meeting you.
you. All right. Well, I'll see everybody soon. Thank you, everyone who joined in the comments. We
Thanks everybody
appreciate
for
you.
coming.
Have a great one. Thanks, Don, for coming, and thank you, Zapal.
Yes, sir.